Hi, I'm David.
And I'm Emily Smith, and we're Mac's parents. So we went to intro orientation, I guess, at public school, and I basically had two questions for the principal. And I said, what does your playtime look like, or movement look like, and what does your mealtime look like? Because two big priorities for us is my kid has to be able to move and has to eat at a regular interval in order to maintain focus. Her response was, oh, movement, we don't have time for that. They have recess for about 15 minutes and that's their playtime for the day. Okay, and what does your mealtime look like? And she said, well, they have lunch sometime between 11 and 1. So my two biggest concerns were literally off of their radar completely. So we walked right out of there and decided to try a private school that told us they could accommodate us, when in reality that just kind of made him a target because he didn't exactly fit their mold.
One of the things that we saw within the private program that he was in, and some other programs as well, was a real challenge in identifying a high energy, curious boy. Because of the energy and because of the questions and the way that a kid's mind works at that age, everything is interesting. The playbook that was applied was immediately to separate those kids from the other kids and put them at their own table. It starts to also affect the social development of the kid.
The teacher was isolating him, and then so that automatically leads the other kids to be like, well, something's different, he's not in our group. So we went about half a year, but we kind of heard the same thing. He's a lot to manage. We don't really know what to do. He doesn't really fit this mold. He just takes a lot of work. He became a different kid. I mean, the natural anxieties that are there in kids, he was heightened by, 100%. He was a different kid in school than he was out of school. Nightmares. He constantly felt like he was under a microscope, and so it was like it was never good enough, and that's a lot for a kid to take. And if they're not allowing him to use his curiosity and to explore, then they're stifling him, which led us to exploring another a functional medicine pediatrician who within the first 10 minutes of meeting with him said, he is very intelligent and you can't put him in public school because they will label him as an emotional behavioral kid, and he will be secluded in a classroom where none of his gifts will shine because it will be overshadowed by that diagnosis until he is in college, which is insane to me. And we had both said that if we started intro back into school at any point, that it would have to be a very different setting. One that really focused on the uniqueness of the kid and didn't exactly make him fit into this specific box because, they're 5. And we needed to know he would be in a place that he would love school and want to be there. So that's what led us to Ignite.
We've seen in the performance of our son at Ignite that they were able to identify very quickly that his energy level and the way to accommodate his curiosity and energy is through a unique curriculum. So one that happens to also fit other kids, which is nice to find other kids with similar fits to the traditional school. So it's gone very well, going to a setting where it's more acknowledged that everyone's on this unique journey to get better. And so one of the bigger impacts, I think, of switching to a non-traditional setting like Ignite has been that he's integrated better with other kids and has had the opportunity to exercise social skill development that is probably one of the most important things at that early age. That's the kind of thing where the kids are developing in a whole different way than the kid we saw that was put in his own table in the corner of the room and stifled because that didn't fit the mold of the environment. And so we've just seen a sort of a night and day contrast.
And I think a big part of what Ignite says their mission is equipping the families. And so we came in as a family with some professionals behind us. It was the first time someone from a school actually listened and implemented what worked. Even at times, they called and said, listen, this is what we're doing, it's not working. What are you guys doing at home? How can we make this work? And then this is the guide we're gonna use. These are the infraction levels, this is what our consequence will be, this is how we carry it out. After that was in place, rarely did we ever have to have another conversation because he knew what to expect It was consistent at home and it was consistent at school, and it actually worked. So it's interesting what a little knowledge and actually implementing it rather than say, well, that's not how we do it here. That's a huge thing, huge.
We see the well thought out overall curriculum that has been incredibly effective.
We're getting reports that like he's doing great with his classwork, he's engaged, which is not something we were getting prior to. So there's something to be said for that, for sure.
Well, for me, I think the most important thing today for kids is that there's a lot of emphasis around outcomes in terms of testing and scoring. What that at least has created in most of those school programs is very much a quick, how fast can I get you categorized? And so what Ignite has brought, which is a very family relationship type setting. We get together with the administration, the teaching staff regularly and talk about development, and our son's in the room with us. So it's not a shameful discussion. So because of that, it just feels more like instruction and growth and development. Super rare. We're super blessed to have found it, and we're excited to see how the next several years develop.